Welcome to The Buried Truth, where we uncover the stories that hide in the shadows of our world. Tonight's tale begins on a dark, rainy night. The kind of night where the world feels small and every sound is amplified. For Officer Ryan, it was just another shift until the 911 call came through. The voice on the other end was a woman, her words trembling, fractured by terror. She whispered, he's still in the house. Then the line went dead. Chilling silence. Ryan raced to the address, a seemingly ordinary suburban home. But the moment he stepped out of his car, a wave of unnatural quiet washed over him. The rain was falling, yet the house itself seemed to absorb all sound. As he pushed open the front door, the silence deepened. It was a heavy, suffocating stillness that clung to the air. There were no creaking floorboards, no humming appliances, just nothing. It felt wrong, like the house was holding its breath. He drew his weapon, his senses on high alert. He moved through the living room, his footsteps muffled by the thick carpet. Family photos smiled down from the mantelpiece, a stark contrast to the palpable fear in the air. He cleared the kitchen, then the bedrooms one by one. Every closet, every corner, empty. Everything was disturbingly neat, as if staged for a magazine shoot. But just as a sense of confusion started to replace his initial alarm, he heard it. A faint, almost imperceptible sound. Faint, irregular breaths. It was so quiet, so subtle, he almost dismissed it as the wind. But this was different. It wasn't human, not quite. It was shallower, and it seemed to come from everywhere at once. He stood perfectly still, straining to pinpoint the source. The sound seemed to pulse, to echo through the very bones of the house. He followed it, his heart pounding against his ribs. It led him down a hallway, past a closed door. The sound grew stronger here, but it wasn't coming from inside the room. He pressed his ear against the cold, smooth plaster of the wall, and then he heard it clearly. The breathing, and a whisper, so faint it was like a ghost's breath against his ear. Don't open it. A cold dread snaked up his spine. This was beyond anything he'd ever encountered. He immediately called for backup. Within minutes, a small team of officers arrived, their faces grim as Ryan explained the situation. They all listened to the wall, their expressions a mix of disbelief and dawning horror. There was no other choice. They had to see what was inside. With heavy tools, they began to break through the plasterboard. Chunks of drywall fell to the floor, revealing the dark void behind it. As the opening grew larger, a hidden chamber was revealed, a small dark space built between the walls. And inside, a young woman was tied to a chair. Her eyes were wide with a terror so profound she was almost catatonic. She was gagged, and it was her muffled, desperate breaths they had heard. Ryan and his team quickly freed her, trying to offer what little comfort they could. As medics tended to the victim, the officers began to search the secret chamber. What they found painted a horrifying picture of meticulous predatory planning. As they processed the scene, a sense of unease returned. The criminal had built this elaborate prison. He'd been here just moments before they arrived. But where was he now? They searched the chamber again, then the rest of the house, methodically room by room. He was gone, vanished into thin air. On the floor of the secret room, they found a single object left behind, a plain black mask. A silent, mocking trophy. As the terrified woman was later able to recall, just before she heard the police breaking through the wall, the man had leaned in close. His last words, whispered into the darkness, were, "You found her, but you'll never find me." Days turned into weeks, and the case went cold. The family moved away, unable to stay in a house that had been so violated. The home was left empty, abandoned. But the story didn't end there. Soon neighbors started reporting strange occurrences. On quiet nights, some claimed they could hear faint sounds coming from the empty house. The sound of faint, irregular breaths, seeming to emanate from the walls themselves, just as Officer Ryan had heard on that first night. The mystery of the man in the wall was never solved. No suspects were ever identified. It was as if he had truly become a ghost. Some say the sounds are just the lingering trauma of the victim, an echo of fear imprinted on the house itself. But others, the ones who live on that street and lock their doors a little tighter at night, believe something else. They believe the criminal never left, that he's still there, hiding in the shadows, a silent predator, watching from the walls, waiting for his next opportunity. The case remains a chilling legend in the department, a reminder that some crimes never truly fade away. They haunt a place, becoming a part of its story, like breaths that never cease. It teaches us a terrifying lesson. Sometimes the most profound secrets are buried in silence. But that silence itself can be the loudest warning of all. Thank you for joining us for this unsettling tale. Stories that explore the darker side of human nature intrigue you. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We have many more buried truths to unearth. Stay safe, and always listen to the silence.